Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantarada Kantanamastute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Har Priye Bolo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bolo Guru Maharaj Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Pramanande. So today is the appearance day of Lord Nrsimha Dev, and we are now celebrating. So we offer obeisances to Guru Maharaj, Guru Parampara. They are kindly arranged for us to all be here peacefully, and then Abhishek is organized, Kirtan present. Deities are present, all bhaktas are present. So Guru Maharaj wanted to speak about the glories of Prahlad Maharaj. So in other years we have discussed the Leela of how Lord Nrsimha came to kill great demon Hiranyakashipu, who was terrorizing the world, and his power was so big that even the demigods, they were praying that Supreme Lord would come. However, the eventuality of the whole Leela is because of the devotion of Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj was just a little boy, and the whole Leela happens while he's very little. So last time we were saying, imagine now Vrishabhanu, he is walking around Ashram. So at the time of the appearance of Lord Nrsimha, Prahlad Maharaj was the age of Vrishabhanu. So that's how little he was. So anyway, before that he was going to school, and before the appearance of Lord Nrsimha, his father, the great demon Hiranyakashipu, tried to kill him many times. So once he tried to burn him in oil, then another time he threw him to the elephants and had the elephants run by him. And then he threw him off a cliff as well, tried to poison him. It's like this many things. He's very evil. Why? He had some attachment for power. This is called pratishta. So pratishta generates some pride and ignorance as well. So the reason why everybody become in some way attached to some sinful activity is ignorance of the presence of God. So in the Leela, we have very clearly how Hiranyakashipu, he cannot see that God is present everywhere in everything. Therefore he is not seeing that he is not controller, God is controller of everything. But Prahlad Maharaj, being a devotee, he is always present in divine reality, which means he realizes everything by sanction of God, everything happening by desire of God. Otherwise, without God's desire, nothing can happen. So anything happening, anything being organized, good and bad, everything is by design. This is divine design, God's design. So anyway, Hiranyakashipu was sending his son to kindergarten, and in kindergarten they were teaching his child all sorts of materialistic subjects. You know, like now, my children, they are going to school, and they are coming back home and they know the national song of Ukraine. And I am thinking, it's like, what is this? Why? We are not in Ukraine. Anyhow, they are singing national song. So it's like some distortion in consciousness is always there. It's like all these things are useless, temporary. This is political. But what is transcendental? It's like, what is the use of it? My children are 7. They're not Ukrainian, they're not Russian. Why they are singing like this? So all sorts of materialistic, distorted ideas in the minds of teachers. So Hiranyakashipu, he wanted the teachers. So this is due to ignorance. But here, more directly, he had power over the teachers. And he was saying, you must teach this, you must teach that, never teach about God. His policy was so strict that he was going around killing all cows because he had heard that Vishnu resides in the cows, that all demigods reside in the cows. So he had some attachment for his power, for his independence. He was very afraid somebody will take his power, his independence. Therefore, he wanted to kill any trace and remembrance of Lord Vishnu. Like, may he not be remembered here. If nobody remembers him, then he will have no power. So such was his ignorance. He was thinking everything in my power. So when Prahlad Maharaj returned from school of the atheist teacher Sanda and Amarka and spoke to his father about the principles of Krishna consciousness, his fatherly angry told his teachers, I will take your heads. Why did you teach Prahlad about devotional service to Vishnu? Trembling, the teachers replied, we have not taught Prahlad this. We don't know why he is speaking about it. You can ask him whether we taught him this. Hiranyakashipu turned to Prahlad and asked, and by this you remember he's the size of Rishabhana, like this little. Where have you learned this? If these two haven't told you this, then who has told you? Why are you so boldly saying these things about surrendering to Vishnu, who is my enemy? Then Prahlad Maharaj began to speak. Now, Srila Gurudeva asked the Bodhi, do you remember this shloka? You should speak on this topic. And then, materialistic persons are simply mulling over that which has already been mulled and chewing that which has already been chewed. Because their senses are not controlled, they are proceeding towards the dreadful hell of material existence, repeatedly trying to enjoy that which has already been consumed. The intelligence of such materially attached persons can either be turned towards Bhagavan Sri Krishna by their own endeavor, by the instructions of others, or by the association of similar materialistic people. So it's like a shloka very loaded. So the main ignorance that as souls we incur in the world is that in the back of our mind there is always this hope that somehow or other, the world will work out for me and that I will go and enjoy everything. And then what happens is some degree of enjoyment comes. I was telling you this the other day. People are very nice when they have nothing, but at the moment they have something, then the real nature comes out. Understand? Because why? Then Purush comes. Also attachment comes. That this is mine. That I am king. Like this. Understand? It's very difficult to dissociate oneself from this delusion. Therefore, simple job is good. Anything little bit more coming need be prepared to conquer the self. Because then once I end up thinking, I am king, this is mine, I am possessor. And then also fear comes. That one day I may lose it, that I may not have it. One day, not so long ago, Gorakanti was having this temple presidency. She had power. But now what have? Only computer, nothing. Also, before she had friends, before being temple president, she had friends. Then office came, therefore had to act. No, nobody she was bossing me around. It's a function duty. So what? Nothing left. No position, no name and fame, no friends, nothing. But Gorakanti is not attached. She has moved on to the next thing. It's like, oh no, Krishna wants me to do this. I am doing this. After he wants me to do that, I do that. But problem is when we become attached to position. Or like my room, your room. Like this. This is my room, not your room. This is my toilet, not your toilet. Like this. Understand? So Hiranyakashipu, he had big one palace, big one toilet. This is my toilet. This is my toilet. Golden. Everything golden. Throne golden. Everything golden. This is my gold. This does not belong to God. So this is some sort of ignorance that comes to the soul. That, oh, now this is mine. It should not be shared with anyone else. So here, chewed what has been chewed means that we are, in the back of our minds, we are believing that by interacting with the material world and trying to enjoy, any type of production in the material world, we will get transcendental happiness. It will somehow, what is the meaning transcendental happiness? Eternal satisfaction. Understand? To be satisfied always is very difficult. This can only be done spiritually. Spiritually means that we have excellent relationship with the self. The self is Krishna. So in the way that we treat God, that's exactly the way that that'll compound to the way we treat others. So ignorance comes from ignore. You are ignoring God. Who is He? What is His nature? And then ignorance comes. So here, atheists completely ignoring God to the point where they believe, they make conclusion, that God not exist. So much ignorance has compounded through many lifetimes that even they are believing, like truly believing. And this happens. It's like, like a blind person. It's like colors don't exist. Because he has been blind for so many lifetimes that all he can see is darkness. So no colors. And they believe colors don't exist. Everybody else telling them, it's like, oh, colors. But how can you explain colors to a person that has never seen? You cannot. It will remain abstract. So it's the same. This is why the verse is saying, because their senses are not controlled, they are proceeding towards the dreadful hell of material existence, repeatedly trying to enjoy what has already been consumed. So it's like, like sugar cane. You can chew on sugar cane and then some juice will come. But to keep chewing on the sugar cane expecting that more juice will come, understand? This is silly. But, we have some experience that, I chewed on that, it was very sweet. For a little while it was very sweet. How long can you chew on a stick of this sugar cane? Very little. 1-2 minutes. 3 minutes, you're lucky. But then you keep chewing on it, more juice will come, more sweetness will come, only the husk is left. So that is us in the material world. So therefore, Guru is advising us, it's like, don't go for that which is temporary. Go for the eternal sugar cane. This is how relationship with God. Understand? Then he is saying, the intelligence of such materially attached people can never be turned towards Sri Krishna. So it is those who are very materially attached to what they have. Their intelligence doesn't work anymore on the basis of reality. It works on the basis of consumption. I want more sugarcane juice. Where is the sugarcane juice? Understand? So it is not possible to do it by their own endeavor, to turn their intelligence towards Krishna, or the instruction of others. Even if you want to help them, they will reject you. Like, oh, you want to control me. It's like, Guru should control. It's natural, higher consciousness. You cannot control your own senses. You have bad karma. Why shouldn't Guru help you control your senses? So in Bhagavad Gita, there is very clear image for our mind to understand that instead of us trying to wield our own senses, we should give it to Krishna. It's like, here are the horses, you take them. This is why Krishna is the charioteer, because the horses represent the senses. And Krishna is honing the senses. So by practicing the limbs of bhakti, we are honing the senses. Otherwise the senses run wild. And in our ignorance, we believe that by sense stimulation, then some sort of happiness will come. Understand? Today in the morning I was seeing that Netflix was very high in stock markets, at some point 300 billion. In this week, Netflix fell 70%. Because people are not watching. It's like people are tired of Netflix. It's like, nothing new here, so they're unsubscribing. So, at some point everybody was like, yeah, Netflix. And now, it's like, no, actually people are not. Why? not possible to get anything that is satisfying. For a little while, some sugar cane juice came, but now it's only the huskies left. And people are like, where will we go for more stimulation? But this is just in the senses, understand? The subtle senses, the mind, the eyes, the ears. So satisfaction cannot come from that. And it says here that the mind of such people cannot be turned towards Krishna even by the instruction of somebody that is well-wishing, self-realized, the instruction of others, and also by people that are atheistic. They're always associating with other atheistic people. So how can they remember Krishna? So therefore, this very difficult task, once you have fallen into ignorance, the madness of ignorance, is very difficult that the jiva will believe because they have forgotten. It's almost like explaining colors to a blind person or sound to a deaf person. Understand? Somebody that has lost the capacity to analyze sound. So Prahlad Maharaj said, "Oh my dear father, those whose consciousness is not fixed on Krishna but on other things, even if they take help from others, and even if they come together, they will not be able to understand what is the goal of life and what is in their self-interest." So you're so focused on keeping your bank account, keeping your money, trying to fix the material relationships you have. You're so fixed on, what do people think about me? With menial problems, the economy, how to please clients, or, this and that. I call it nakaka. You are so focused on the nakaka that you lose sight of the goal of life and also what is good in your self-interest. So you start thinking through your mind, and this happens to everybody. Yeah? Every day of our life, this happens to us at least once a day. That we lose sight of what is good for oneself, and we start thinking, maybe Gurudev is wrong, maybe, what the acharyas are giving us, maybe this is not the way, maybe it can be done in a better way. And then our mind starts making up a story with infinite creativity, right? Infinite creativity. But in reality, where is the prasadam coming from so that our mind can have energy? Where does all the air in the universe come from so that our lungs can be full of air and our brain can work? Who instilled the blood flow in our bodies? So in the end of the day, everything belongs to Krishna, everything designed by Krishna. And here we are denying his existence. So here Prahlad, he is explaining this. The real self-interest is to engage in bhajan. So if you have real self-interest, Prahlad Maharaj, he is instructing us. Really, you love yourself? There are many people now. It's like, the first thing, New Age, the first thing you gotta do in this New Age, the first thing you gotta do is love yourself. It's like, okay, yeah, good, accepted. Prahlad Maharaj is instructing, you wanna love yourself? Go do some bhajan. This is real love to the self, because this is what's good for you. Huh? So there is no terrorism against freedom. Gurudev is simply giving us instruction. It's like, look, you are free. Nobody can take that away from you. But instead of doing something stupid with your freedom, why don't you do something enlightened with your freedom? Something that makes sense for your well-being. So it's like, and what is that, Gurudev? Well, something very simple. Chant the name of the Lord, do bhajan. This is good for you. The problem is that they have uncontrolled senses. They are griha brat. They have taken a vow to remain in this world and somehow find happiness. So you see, when you believe that we can find happiness in the world that is sustainable, in the back of the mind we are like, we love playing video games. And we have made a vow. Like people when they get married, that I vow that I will be with you no matter what. Thick and thin, we will find happiness together. Like this, in the back of our mind we have made a vow. Hiranyakashipu had made a vow that it is possible to find happiness without Vishnu in the world. But how can you remove the cause of all causes? The causal ingredient, if you remove it, then there is no effect. Yet we want to enjoy the effect. So This is ignorance. This is why it is called an illusion, because it is plain ignorance. So following the uncontrolled senses, they are chewing what has been already chewed. There is no real enjoyment or rasa in this world, but we are very foolish that we are endeavoring so hard to get one drop of happiness. So it's like crypto coins. Also my friend Tico, yesterday he was telling me that last week, Bitcoin crashed. It's like everybody had their hopes and expectations in chocolate coins. Remember we were speaking about chocolate coins, Jai? And you were asking me, should I take chocolate coins or real money? And I was telling you, well, actually, everything is made up. Everything is made up. But, like paper money is still a little better than chocolate money. And then you're asking, should I be paid like that? I was telling no, because there's no guarantee. It's very variable.
So from 10,000, now it's 700. In a week.
Understand?
Yes.
So it's like, how can you base your happiness on something that's silly? And it's very obvious that it will happen. People have, like, this is not so bad, right? Because it was just made up money. Like, you never really had it. You never really could count on it because you didn't believe in it. But there is people that have all their hopes in this chocolate money. It's like, yeah, I'll invest it and then one day I will have 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. Right? And then what you are left with? A couple of peanuts in your bank account. Okay? So this is what happens also now with how this virtual world that they are proposing. Like you look, everything is virtual, which is like Instagram, everybody looking better than they really are, right? There's like putting makeup, very nice shot from, like you took 15 photos, you put the best one. Everybody's thinking, oh, these people, they have such a great life. But really, is that true? Like, you just come to live in ashram. Like if you stay in ashram, if you come on Sunday, everything looks bright and happy. But like really, living with people, what happens? People have mood swings, And people go through all sorts of ups and downs, naturally. Especially in Lithuania, if you meet somebody in the winter and then you meet somebody in the spring or summer, like different people, eh? But in Instagram, one line, very nice. This is like summer. Everything is made up. Now with virtual reality, I was looking that now like all the major brands like Nike or Gucci and Fuji, all these brands, now they are investing not in designing things for how this level of world, right? They are no longer designing on the chemical dimension. Now all their efforts since the virtual world, the multiverse, metaverse, how's it called? The metaverse. Now they're designing all their products to sell them on the metaverse. And there's stuff, like you can buy an image made of pixels for thousands of dollars. Millions of dollars. And it's all made, right? You cannot eat it. It's like it's all made up. So it's like thinking that you can get any type of satisfaction. Like even if you have $10 million, what kind of satisfaction can it give you to buy something made of pixels? It's like, what kind of satisfaction can you derive from it? But people are in such madness. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada, he always used to remind us, simple life, higher thinking. Move to a village, grow your own food, do it organic, organize a school for the children, have a couple of cows, and then with the rest of your time, chant Hare Krishna, read Srimad Bhagavatam, try to follow the appearance day of the incarnations of God. If you see, this is transcendental. It might seem like it happened thousands upon thousands of years ago, but it's relevant today. It's like, are there not demons in our planet at the moment? Are there not people making war and people dying over the same issue? The same exact thing. This is mine, not yours. There's a line here, it's imaginary, because, like borders in countries, it's an imaginary line, right? That somebody made up for some reason, this is mine and that is yours. But in reality, nothing is ours. So they're both foolish. So everything belongs to God. Understand? So that is the madness we live in. Following this path, they are going towards the darkest region of ignorance, and they will go to hell and suffer the reaction. So what is hell? Well, can you imagine having a lot of power and nobody likes you? Everybody that is around you is telling you, you're great, because it's convenient for them. But actually nobody likes you. You have no friends. Nobody trusts you. You got to sit down in a very long table, and at the end of the table are your closest people. Why? You're afraid they will poison you or something like that? That's hell. You know, to be not able to sleep in peace at night, that's hell. No peace, no love. Very bad condition. And you know, like right now we have nothing, no? But a little bit we have something, and then it's like, I don't want nobody to take it away from me. Like this. And then this bad mood comes. Very sour emotions start coming in the heart. And this is what corrupts the consciousness. So, who will go? Guru and disciple both will go to hell. Persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life and who have therefore accepted as their leader a similar blind man attached to external sense objects cannot understand that the goal of life is to give up this material life and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. As blind men, guided by another blind man, miss the right path and fall into a ditch, materially attached man, led by another materially attached man, are bound by the ropes of fruitive labor, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries. Prahlad continued, they don't know that the real self-interest, the ultimate goal of life, is to worship Krishna. Instead, they place all their false hopes in trying to enjoy this world and place all their hopes in material things. They are blind and they are following other similarly blind persons, and the result is that they will fall into the ditch. So, like what happened, there's one lady, she is coming to Ashram sometimes. She had big business running with government of one country. And then the prime minister of the country died in the middle of the closing of the business. So it just kind of happened, right? Like so much effort. It's like, if this happens, I will be happy. And then it fell apart, right? Because the prime minister dies and then the government has to change. Only God knows if the business will go through. But really, why should we put our hopes in something that is absolutely beyond our control? So it's like you have two examples of how putting your hopes on material assets, you know, like in the chocolate coins you cannot trust. In the value of the pixels you cannot trust. Also in the value of things that are beyond your control you cannot trust. So what can you trust, and in what way to attain peace? And Prahlad Maharaj says, well, your best shot at that is do bhajan and try to remember God and try to have establish a good, beautiful relationship with God. That is for sure. It's like actually it's the only thing that is for sure. That God is always there, and God's nature is, His nature is loving. Therefore, but we don't engage, no? So, the lotus feet of Urukrama, who is glorified for his uncommon activities, destroy all anarthas in the heart. However, those who are very materialistic cannot attach to his lotus feet until they smear their bodies with the dust from the lotus feet of great souls who are absorbed in Bhagavad Prema and who are completely freed from material attachments. He says, yes, you both are blind, your guru and you. You are demons. I know that you are blind, and if you are not taking the dust of the lotus feet of highly qualified Vaishnavas, then you're mati. Your intelligence cannot be changed. So this is Prahlad Maharaj telling to his father. He's like, look, Dad, you're blind. It's like Vrishabhanu telling Jai. He's like, Dad, don't buy chocolate coins. It's like, no, I got 10,000 chocolate coins. Vrishabhanu, no, Dad. Don't buy chocolate coins. It's like cute, you know? Like we can imagine like the innocence of a little kid with a pure heart. Telling us, don't do that. It's really silly. Don't do that. We were like, no, it'll work this time. How many millions of lifetimes? So he is saying, yes, you know, you are sending me to these teachers that are atheists, Dad, because they are blind and also you are blind. And then this Hiranyakashipu was like, hi, how you are saying I am blind? I have the best eyes in the kingdom. And with these eyes, I have seen how an empire rise. And, the baby is like, you are blind. How can your intelligence be fixed on the lotus feet of Krishna if you have not bathed in the dust of the lotus feet of an elevated Vaishnava? It will not be possible. Then Gurudev asks, who are Niskinchan devotees? Niskinchan are those who have no possession and Krishna is their only possession. In their heart is Sri Krishna, their only possession. This is complete mendicant, That's why I'm always telling Manjari Lila. When I met Manjari Lila, something she had, now what she has. Only Krishna. And Miles Davis. Bas, that is all. Therefore, this is called Niskinchan. When you are coming into the path of bhakti, at some point this is meant to happen. Therefore, people that are too eager to acquire material assets very quickly, it's like, it's like some break has to be put, because that's the path to get lost. Not because material assets are not good. You can use them in the service of Krishna. Like, you give Prabhuji any type of donation, he will turn it into prasada. He'll make it rain for everybody. But that is a sadhu. A sadhu is a person without ignorance. If you put the same amount of cash in the hands of somebody that is blind, they will think the cash is mine. But if you put it in the hands of a sadhu, the sadhu knows this is not mine. It belongs to Krishna, so might as well distribute it for Krishna's devotees. Right? Because it belongs to him, not to me. So it's like, that's the difference. But if you're not mature in your process, if you're just beginning, right? And if you have a lot of success too quickly, too soon, what happens, Jai?
You lose it.
Yeah, you lose it because you don't know what to do with it. Because you think it's yours. Of course you lose it. Or worse even, you keep growing because somehow you have some intelligence, right? To make it grow. But then what it creates, no friends, envy around you, understand? And then your mood becomes very sour towards other people. You are not able to establish good relationships with other people. You are not able to remember God because you're so stressed keeping the empire running. Understand? So, who is Niskinchan? Niskinchan are those people who have no possession and Krishna is their only possession. In their heart is Sri Krishna, that is their only possession. Srila Gurudev says, good. I wanted all these things to be explained here. I don't know. I want you to know these things. What became afterwards? Hiranyakashipu became furious, and taking his sword and club, he ordered his men, bring mad elephants and poisonous snakes. Throw them on him so that they will kill him. Bring poison and forcibly give it to him. Bring my sister to put him in a fire. Throw him from a mountain into the ocean and bind him to a stone that he will drown. They did that. Thousands of soldiers came to kill him, but they could not accomplish the result they desired. Hiranyakashipu became anxious and fearful, thinking, I wanted to kill him, but he is not dying, and it may be that I will be killed by him. So it's like, can you imagine? Like if Jayadeva became very angry with Rishabhanu, he told me not to buy chocolate coins. It's like, throw him to the elephants. Of course, Jay would never do that, right? But can you imagine this guy? The baby was good, like Rishabhanu, very cute, saying, I love you. He would come and say, God loves you, I love you. Huh? Like this, very sweet baby, very smart baby. But demon father's nature could not see the sweetness in his son. He's like, kill him, have the elephants run through him. Sanda and Amarka arrived and counseled him. They said, don't be worried. You have controlled Indra and all the other demigods, and Prahlad is like a little mosquito compared to them. Why are you so anxious? Wait a little. Our father Sukracharya has gone away for meditation. He will return shortly and make Prahlad a very good boy, don't worry. So Sukracharya is Venus. He is the guru of the demons, the materialistic. So one guru is saying, enjoy material life, comfort like this. Other guru is saying, no, nothing in material life. Don't buy chocolate coins. One guru is selling you Bitcoin. It's like, buy Bitcoin. This is Sukracharya. You get Bitcoin. Huh? NFTs, Bitcoin. Sukracharya. You will enjoy kingdom. Another guru, Jupiter, is like, hey, why you are believing in these chocolate coins? Understand the difference? They are both gurus. Guru of the demons is telling, buy material stuff. Yeah, how? Guru of the demigods is saying, hey, don't be silly. You'll be left with peanuts. Understand? So they are both guru. So now you're saying, oh, now Sukracharya will come back and we will put Prahlad Maharaj to learn about NFTs and about Bitcoin with him. He will teach you very nicely how to run a kingdom, you know? How to run an oil empire or something like that. Don't worry. They took Prahlad with them to their school and began again to teach him politics, duplicity, hypocrisy, diplomacy, how to earn money and how to rule a country, to divide and control. Prahlad did not say anything in the class. He was simply remembering Lord Krishna. So anyway, any circumstance comes, it's like, why are you not remembering Krishna? Never believe in these things. Understand? Look how they are, how politics, duplicity, hypocrisy, diplomacy. Understand? One day the teachers told Prahlad, we are going out for an important job, so for some time you should watch over these boys, like a monitor. We will return very soon. So like they left Prahlad Maharaj there. Like Vrishabhanu. It's like, okay, Vrishabhanu, teachers have to go out. They left him in the house, class president. It's like, now you watch over them. With their teachers absent, the boys began to play here and there. Prahlad requested that, don't do so, please hear. I will tell you something that will make your life very happy. Prahlad Maharaj then began to tell what the speakers did not touch. Oh, I am very worried. Shamaranidasi, the children wanted to play and engage in self-realization when they are older. Prahlad Maharaj said, one who is sufficiently intelligent should use the human form body from the very beginning of life, in other words, from a tender age of childhood, to practice activities of devotional service, giving up all other engagements. The human body is most rarely achieved, and although temporary like our bodies, it is meaningful because in human life one can perform devotional service. Even a slight amount of sincere devotional service can give one complete perfection. We should pursue self-realization from an early age. Suppose if we have 100 years to live, 50 years are wasted sleeping. Then 10 years are wasted playing foolishly as a child. 10 years in material education. 10 years in sense gratification, getting married, having children. 20 years are wasted in old age, so don't pursue economic development or money, as that doesn't bring happiness. See? Now Jugas will never come back. I am looking at him. He's like, what you are doing here? Oh, I will follow, but in Glasgow. The other day I asked him, if I tell you something, will you follow? And he said, yes, but where is it that you are? In Scotland. He said, yes, I will follow in Scotland. It's like, how can you follow? I was telling you, it's very dangerous to come here. If you come here, you will lose everything. Really? This is true. Look, everybody is mendicant here. Like Madhuri, she was meant to be doctor, she has PhD, and now you look villager. Huh? Like this. And Manjari Lila, another example, Yoga Maya Baba, such brilliant career, 2 careers, one brilliant as psychologist, the other brilliant, and now here what, washing pots only, day and night. So like this Jayanti, also she was very successful and she came to me, now look, villager, losing everything. Be very careful, Judas. Be very careful, eh?
Okay.
Therefore, take my advice, run while you can. This is happening. Prahlad is telling his friends, this human form of life is very rarely achieved after millions of lifetimes. You should think that Prahlad Maharaj is instructing you all and try to follow these instructions in your life. Then you should help others. If you are not following them yourself, how can you teach others? The human form of life is also temporary like other birds, but this human is Arthadham. It has the power to give something the other birds cannot give. Dharma Bhagavata Niha. In the human form of life, one can engage in Bhagavad Dharma, Prema Dharma, loving devotional service to Krishna. This is done from the very beginning of life. As one grows older, one collects samskar, which will be obstacles to perform bhajan at an older age. There will be deep attachment to family and household's possession. So don't think this is because you are bad. Naturally, like if you have nothing, then how can you be attached to anything if you have nothing? So you're attached to what you have, and this is Krishna. Because it is inevitable that everybody, the only thing we have is Krishna. It's just we don't realize. But the more that we have any material possession, the more attachment comes. Naturally it happens. So like for example, yesterday I was joking with the devotees. Like one devotee said, like yesterday 3 people told me that now I am fat. It's like it's never happened before, 3 times in one day. I was mocking, it's like, now I have a belly. And 3 people out of nowhere, it's like Krishna was, poking me. I said, hey, look at yourself, you became fat.
I'm joking.
Yes, I know. I think it's Paramatma. So like even Baba told that I am so fat. It's like, look, now you became a man. It's like,
it's a compliment.
It is a polite diplomatic way of saying you're fat. And then also Nandanandan told, oh, you are so fat. Then also another devotee told, it's like, oh, you look like pregnant. Then I am thinking, I am walking, in the evening I am walking and I am thinking, oh, one day I used to be, like this, how tall, like this, young, strong, like this. And now it is all gone. Why? I became attached to my youth. It's like, why not? It's like, one day I was young, now you look, people are laughing from me. Abundant. And I was just looking, how it is silly that we become attached to things we're absolutely not in control of. And we define our personality on the basis of things that we're absolutely not in control of. Like who can control young age, old age? You're in the vehicle, you're meant to suffer it until it dies. Can you control it? It's like, oh no, I will control that my hair will not turn white. It's like, what can I do about my belly? It's like one day it was just there. So I didn't do much, I was just doing what I've been doing all my life. The same here, you look. But if I become obsessed with youth, which is temporary, in a material body, and I base my happiness on that, and I am foolish, because it's meant to go. If I become too attached to my body, and base my happiness on that, it is foolish because it is temporary. So this is what Gurudev is trying to remind us here. This is ignorance. So it's not that Gurudev is against you having a good time in eternity. In fact, what Gurudev wants everybody to have is a fantastic time in eternity. What he's saying is like, look, by doing what you're doing and investing in Bitcoin is not going to happen. So don't invest in the material world because it's just chocolate coins. It's not going to happen. So better engage in spiritual activities. So we were speaking about attachment. It just happens so naturally. Anything is good. Anything is pleasant. Of course you become attached to it. Of course. Any degree of fame, any degree of bank balance, any degree of... like I always laugh, Mohan, because I never see paper money anymore. It's just, there's an agreement that now you have 2,000, now you have 5,000, now you have 10,000. But it's like, really, you never see the gold, you never see the money, never. It's just like made up somewhere. Right? And sometimes you have more, sometimes you have less. Everything is made up. So to base something on something that has no substance in reality is foolish. There are many devotees, they cannot digest, Gurudev is just telling us not to enjoy our life, now we are young. What is everybody thinking when they are young, Mohan? What are you thinking about, Brajaraj? Chanting 64 rounds every day. Yes, this is true. He's waking up in the morning, he's like, today I will chant 64 rounds for my own good. I will seek the association of Rasik Mohan Prabhu in New York. This is good for me. This will help me advance. This is what he is thinking every day of his life. No. We are thinking about investing in Bitcoin. So the human form of life is also temporary like other births, but this human birth is Artha Dham, which means it has the power to give some what other births cannot give. Dharma Bhagavata Niha. In the human form, one can engage in Bhagavad Dharma, Prema Dharma, loving devotional service to Krishna. And this is done from the beginning of life. Endeavors merely for sense gratification or material happiness through economic development are not to be performed, for they result only in a loss of time and energy, with no actual profit. If one's endeavor are directed towards Krishna consciousness, one can surely attain the spiritual platform of self-realization. There is no such benefit from engaging oneself in economic development. Just as distress comes without any endeavor, happiness also comes without any endeavor. If you are working hard in this world to attain material happiness, it is a waste of time because all will come according to karma. So don't waste your time in this. Now, how to reconcile for those people that are already married and already got on the boat? Or for those of you who have compulsion and could not control your senses, no? It's like, I was compelled to get married. Like a magnet. If you put two pieces of a magnet together, have you ever played with magnets? What happens? Right? Like you cannot reason with the magnet. It's like, my dear magnet. Such is karmic compulsion, understand? We have compulsion to engage in material life, so how to reconcile what Gurudev is saying here with what we are living? For example, Madan Mohan has 4 children. That happened, right? This is magnetic force, yes? Karmic magnetic force. So how to reconcile? Because sometimes we think, right? How can I have time to engage in Krishna consciousness if I am a parent and I have to maintain the family, right? How you reconcile is you understand, this is my dharma. So this is my job. But you don't have the foolish idea that this will give me happiness. You understand the difference. So this is called yoga. By knowledge. You understand? And then, when you have time, you try to engage fully in the activities that will help you demagnetize yourself. When we are chanting, what's happening is we are demagnetizing our consciousness. Understand? At the moment, our consciousness is magnetized to material endeavors. So by staying in the ashram, by taking association with sadhu, guru, and Vaishnavas, what happens is we start becoming demagnetized. So there's a part of ourselves that, when you're here just like 1 year, year and a half, 2 years, you still believe that you can go back to the world with what you have learned in the ashram and this time it'll work. But, if you stay here for longer, then you start understanding that that was foolish in the first place, but you start understanding. That's why sadhu sangha is necessary. And actually you begin to be happy. You're suddenly so happy to be in the ashram. You're so happy to be in kirtan. You're so happy that you don't have to suffer a job. What is your job? Dressing the deities? Cooking prasadam? Distributing it to your friends? Decorating the deities? Singing the songs? It's like, really, is that so hard? It's like the hardest thing in the ashram is to wake up for Mangalarti. That is the most stressful activity in the ashram, to go for Mangalarti. It's like, it's such painful endeavor. If you have kids, you know there's Mongol Arti every day. Eh? Jayadevan is not so sweet. Anyway, you gotta do it. So how do you demagnetize yourself? It's like, okay, I was attracted to that. Is the result of my actions. I must perform my duty. But instead of calling it mine, the result of your action, calling it mine, you're like, okay, since I'm doing this, I'm going to do it perfectly well. And at the end of the day, I'm going to offer it as a gift to Krishna. So it is no longer mine. So if something is mine, I cannot suffer the reaction for it. I no longer believe that I can be happy through that endeavor. Which reminds me, today, Anukula Prem Prabhu took brahmachari. So he demagnetized himself by the grace and help of his family. Somehow he came in touch with the Vaishnavas, and then the Vaishnavas had mercy on him, and now he's demagnetized. And now he's fully living sadhu life, brahmachari. He has nothing, only Krishna. So before he had like this little truck. Now he's even demagnetized from that. But he's no longer believing, okay, that. Many times, what? He tried. Family, wife, daughter, job, everything, mother, everything. At some point he realized this is not going to take me anywhere. I'm old. How old is Uncle G? 60?
50-something.
50-something. So by 55 you realize, well, that didn't work.
Twice.
So it's like maybe now twice. Well, he tried twice and it didn't work out for him. Now, does it work out for anybody? Well, according to the Bhagavatam, no. You can be successful in the endeavor of keeping things afloat, right? But the problem is the belief that, that's it. So this is what we're trying to clean. And to understand that from an eternal perspective, we have to start gearing our intelligence towards eternal relationship with God instead of putting, all the chips in the basket of Bitcoin. It's a futile investment. Have you explained about 100 years? You should tell that. So if you don't take to the path of devotion, we read that, huh? So then 50 years of your life wasted in sleeping. First 10 years of your life wasted in playing games. 10 years will be spent in education, which is true, and in learning some skill or profession to maintain your life. And at least 20 years you will be old and many diseases will be there. So how will you engage in bhajan? And then Gurudev says, at that time, how can you give up your newly married wife and weeping small children? When you collect so many material attachments, how can you give them up? Even if you try to give them up, it will come in your mind again and again. Srila Gurudev says, if your father is so old, how can you give him up? Your little children will be very lovingly calling you Papa, Mama. How will you be able to give up absorption in them? Your beautiful gardens and beautiful dogs, oh my chiefy, how you will give them up? So it is better to give up everything material and chant and remember the Lord. Chiefy. Say how not to be attached to my doggy. This is very good. Prahlad told his classmates, if you want to be happy, then practice bhakti yoga, devotional service to Lord Krishna. What was that? The classmates asked. How can we practice bhakti yoga? And Prahlad told, it is very simple, it doesn't require much endeavor. One must accept the bona fide spiritual master and render service unto him with great devotion and faith. Whatever one has in one's possession should be offered to the spiritual master, and in the association of saintly people and devotees, one should worship the Lord. So, like, I've had instances of people that say, your classes are very nice, but I'm just very nice listening. And really, this whole thing with the guru is like, it doesn't really suit me. And it's like, yeah, but it's not what you think in your mind the process should be. It's what the Bhagavatam and the sadhus and Krishna has given us. It's a process. It's not up to you to define what is going to help you. Otherwise, you'd be enlightened. You would not be magnetized to karmic reactions. Can you imagine how people are magnetized? This is karma. We are magnetized in those such, it's like who hasn't suffered? Have you ever fallen into a relationship that only gave you more suffering than happiness? Has that ever happened to you? It's like you went into a relationship and it's like, whoa, that was painful. But anyway, you were so attracted and you can't let it go. Right? There's a karmic magnetism. So Gurudev is saying, let go of that. It's not going to give you eternal happiness. So anyhow, fulfill your duty, right? But don't believe that it's going to give you happiness. It's like, don't fall for that. Instead of that, try to realize, it's like, okay, there's a step ahead. So here he's explaining about ages. So this is why I'm telling you, if now you can go to New York and practice bhakti, like already how many years have gone from your life, right? If you don't do that, then the next thing you know is like what? Working and getting married, and then children, and then, another 40 years. At least like that, you will have a few years just to perform bhakti. And that'll help you advance in consciousness for your next life. Before like marriage comes and all of that, which is like almost inevitable. Very few people make it out of it, Because there is the belief and the hope that, I may find happiness in that thing. Now, if your guru tells you, because the instruction here is one must accept a bona fide spiritual master and render service unto him. So that's non-negotiable. If you want to advance in spiritual life, the presence of guru is non-negotiable. Many people think that they can negotiate with the universe. They're negotiating with God. It's like, look, it's like I want to, come a little bit towards you, but you know what? It's like that thing with the guru. Let me be my own guru. They're negotiating with Krishna. It's like, I think you're wrong, Krishna. It's like, guru shouldn't be there, It's such a hassle. Sometimes he tells us not to buy bitcoins, and, it's like, Bitcoin is high. And how can guru know about material aspects of life if he's never involved? It's like, therefore I think that guru should not be involved. What does guru want from you? To overpower you, to rule over your life, or to help you? Actually, neither of them. Guru doesn't want to help you. Guru helps you because of causeless mercy coming from Krishna. Causeless mercy. He has no desire, for your happiness or your ruin. No, Gurudev is absolutely detached. However, he does help because that's the nature of sadhu, to be good. So it's like if you come nearby a candle, it'll give light. If you go nearby a river and you get inside of a river, you'll be wet. If it is summer and you are nearby the sun, well, the sun is also giving light and it's hot. So by nature, Guru will give instruction and help you. By nature. It's like, Gurudev, where's the ocean? Like if you ask a river, where's the ocean? It's like, well, it's that way, It's like, really? Have you seen it? It's like, well, the flow is that way, so... Understand? So by nature, Guru helps us.
Magnetized.
Yes. So the instruction is one must accept a bona fide spiritual master and render service unto him with great devotion and faith. Whatever has in one's possession should be offered to the spiritual master, and in association of saintly people and devotees, one should worship the Lord. So that is the recipe for advancement in spiritual life. Now, can we all do it fully? No, that's why it's a process. But you start by accepting a spiritual master. And then you do what the teacher tells you. Now, this is what I was telling you. Many people come and say, hey, can you do compatibility? I ask, well, will you do what is told? And that's why I don't do compatibilities, because nobody ever listens. And, I don't want to be any type of agent in their magnetization. It's like, no, don't magnetize. It's like, you'll suffer. It's like, but I feel such attraction. I feel that the universe is conspiring to bring us together. We must have a mission. No, you're magnetized. Understand? So therefore, will it work? Well, yeah, sometimes it does, but it rarely. So therefore I've learned, it's like, no, don't intervene. I always tell people, stay there for a year. If after a year you still... Because what counts in the end of the day is how? Your devotion. Something you will learn from marriage. You will learn to serve another living entity. You will learn to serve constantly. You will learn to think about another more than you think about yourself. You will learn that in order to serve somebody, that is a free choice, but it's going to cost you energy and it's going to cost you endeavor. You'll give your word. You'll learn that sometimes it's not easy to fulfill your word, but anyhow you got to do it because you gave your word. So that results in devotion. So if you can simply take that same devotion, that same quality, and offer it to God, then you'll be happy. Right? So it can be good practice. So therefore sometimes, this is why it is said, it's very tricky. Because by principle we should all renounce, right? And become monks. Can anybody in the room do it? So it's extremely hard. This is why with somebody like Rasik Mohanji or Krishna Karna Prabhuji or Prem Pradeep Prabhu come to grace us with their presence, we give pranam. Because they are so much more self-realized than we are. We give pranam. Now, however, does that mean that we can jump? Sometimes we can't jump, so there's things that we must realize, and this is why we have to take the shelter of Sri Guru. Because Sri Guru will teach us with his own example, will teach us with association and patience, how to do it in a way that is healthy and in a way that is helping us develop in our present stage. So somehow or other, Guru will look for a way to help us engage our intelligence and our mind in that which is transcendental, according to our present nature. You understand? So this is why Guru tells you to. Like I've seen Gurudev, he told this Yashodananda Prabhu, he's like, I want you to make a lot of money. And I want you to get married. Oh, but Gurudev, it's like, yeah, this will please me, From you, this is bhakti. It's like, go make money and, maintain everything. So Shivas Pandit Mahaprabhu told the same. Okay, you're married, make a feast for all the devotees. So he used to feed thousands of devotees. Right? He didn't tell Shivas Pandit to be a monk. So he is showing that there is different ways. So you see, it's not the form that counts, it's the offering. Right? So the goal is not to engage the intelligence in believing that by performing material activities we'll gain any type of sustainable happiness. Alright? So one must accept, you have to serve your spiritual master with Shushrushaya Bhakti, just like it has been mentioned in the scriptures. The conclusive essence of the Shutris is only revealed to those great souls who have para bhakti unto Bhagavan and who have an equal amount of bhakti for their Guru. The amount of para bhakti one has towards Bhagavan should be the same as towards Gurudev. Gurudev is not mortal. Then surely the meanings and essence of the scriptures will come in the heart. Sanda and Amarka are not bona fide gurus, nor is their father Sukaracharya, because they are absorbed in material things. Guru is not attached to material things. He is expert in all scriptures, and he is a realized soul. If you go and serve him, then very easily you can understand. Whatever you have, you should offer at the feet of Gurudev. You should engage with the Vaishnavas as per the 6 exchanges as mentioned by Srila Rupa Goswami. The students asked, Prahlad, you are always attending this school of Sanda and Amarka, so where did you learn this philosophy? Prahlad Maharaj replied, I never learned anything from these bogus gurus. My guru is Sri Narada Rishi. When I was in my mother's womb, I learned all the philosophy from Sri Narada. Because when the mom of Prahlad Maharaj was pregnant, Hiranyakashipu was going off, He was like really going off. So she was like, no, I can't live with this guy. So she went, and she was so afraid that she went and sought shelter in an ashram. So she took shelter from Narada Muni, and while she was pregnant with Prahlad, she was listening to the holy scriptures from the lips of Narada Rishi. So that's where the nature of the baby came. Prahlad asked, are you convinced? The children replied, oh yeah, we're all convinced. Then come with me and perform Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of Lord's names. And he began then the Kirtan. Sri Krishna Gopala Hari Mukunda Govinda Hinanda Kishora Krishna Ha Shri Yasoda Tanaya Prashida Sri Vallabhi Jivana Radikesh. Govinda Jai Jai, Gopala Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari, Govinda Jai Jai. The devotees present also began kirtan, but they were stopped by the loud voice of Sripad Ashram Maharaj, acting as Hiranyakashipu, who was in turn ripped open by Sri Mahibharat Das, acting as Lord Nrsimha in a 2-minute drama. Thank you for this good demonstration. In a moment, Lord Nrsimha pulled Hiranyakashipu's intestines out, put them around his neck, and began to roar. You see, sometimes you ask me if this was true. Like sometimes I tell people how Nrsimha, he was so angry, transcendental anger. He was so angry at this demon that he ripped him apart, and I tell you that he put the intestines like garlands around his neck, and many devotees is like, is that true? It's like, yeah, well, here Gurudev is speaking about it. He was enraged. He was like so angry, he had divine rage. His mane began to fly in the air and made it seem as though the whole world would be finished. He was so furious that Lord Brahma, Lord Shankar, Sri Lakshmi Devi, and all other great personalities who arrived to watch the scene thought, oh, he will destroy the entire universe. They requested Lord Brahma, you are his son. You should go and pacify him. Fearful, Lord Brahma objected. Oh, this time I cannot go. So none of the demigods has seen God so angry. He was furious. He was like super, super, super angry. The demigods then requested Lord Shankar, Shiva, to pacify him. But even Lord Shiva said, no, I will not go. After that, they asked Lakshmi Devi. It's like, oh, Lakshmi Devi, you are his wife. You're always serving him and massaging his feet. So you please go and calm him down, pacify him. And she replied, today I cannot go. Brahma and others then requested Prahlad. Oh, then you can do it. You should go. Like you can imagine, like Vrishabhanu. This lion is furious. He just killed demon. Was his mane dripping with blood like this. And then the baby came, I love you. Hearing this, Prahlad very boldly and with no fear at all jumped onto the lap of Lord Nrsimha. Seeing Prahlad, Lord Nrsimha began to weep bitterly with many tears flowing from his lotus eyes. He began licking Prahlad's body as a lion licks his cubs, because he was in the form of a half animal, half man. After that, he told Prahlad, I am very upset that I have delayed. Your father gave you so much trouble. He even tried to kill you, and I delayed. Excuse me for this delay and take any benediction you like. So even God came to save his devotee, and he was upset with himself because he's like, oh, they were torturing you, they had elephants run behind you, It's like all these material karmas were coming and going, like unjustified. And he said, and I delayed to save you. So it's like he was angry with himself also, that, my devotee suffered and I didn't come to protect. So he was telling Prahlad, okay, you asked me for a boon. How Krishna, he was somehow trying to make up for his delay, that I am so sorry that I was late. So take a boon in exchange. And he said, Prahlad Maharaj said, I am not a business person and I don't want to beg anything or take any boon in exchange for my service to you. Oh, Prahlad, you must take a boon because you are seeing me must not go in vain. You must ask any boon to please me, otherwise I will not be pleased. So the nature of God, he likes that, okay, you ask me for something, I can give you anything, so you ask me for something. So like very rich people, like who are truly rich, if they have any love or any friendship, it's like, you please take a gift. Please take a gift. Like when you go to Prabhuji, if you don't take prasad back home, he will not be pleased. It's like, take prasad. Or if he knows that you are going, like every time any devotee comes here, it's like, he has done it. Like he one night before making kachoris, and then sending 1 box, 2 boxes of kachoris. It's like, you take. Oh, but Prabhuji, the plane, nada de the plane, like extra luggage you pay. You take. Otherwise, Prabhuji will not be pleased. So God is the same. Like it's same, like if you don't take prasadam from the hand of Premananda Prabhu, he will not be pleased. But you could say, oh Prabhuji, I don't want to take anything from you, you are sadhu. Badmash, you have to take prasad. So in the same way, Lord Nrsimhadev is telling Prahlad, you have to take a boon. You know, it's like Prabhuji's house stock will not go any less if he gives you 10,000 kachoris. He can do every day of his life. He will not diminish. No problem for him. So same, Nrsimhadev is like, take a boon. And Prahlad said, please excuse my father and liberate him. And Lord Nrsimhadev, okay, it has been done. How has it been done? 21 generations of Uttamadhikari, topmost Vaishnavas, will be liberated, even if the generations of family members are non-devotees. For those who are Madhyamadhikari, second-class devotees, their fathers and mothers of 14 generations will be liberated. If one is even Kanishta, neophyte devotee, but sincerely chanting and remembering Krishna, then 7 generations will easily be liberated. Your father is in the first generation, therefore surely he will be liberated. Now ask for a benediction. So Lord Nrsimha said, it's like, this is not benediction, this is automatic. Understand? There's another Bishwan who came, so don't worry. He will do all the work. Understand? So like this. He said, this is automatic, so you have to ask me for something. Then Prahlad said, okay, if you want to give me a benediction, grant me that I should live in this world for many years, suffering everyone's problems which they have received due to the reactions of their sinful activities and their pain of the endless chain of birth and death, so that all will be liberated from top to bottom. So he said, okay, so all the magnetic energy that everybody carries in their karma, you give it to me, I'll carry it on my head. That's what the baby said. He's 5 years old. How can this be, Lord Nrsimha asked. See, Prahlad said, you can do this very easily because you can come for your devotees. All the living beings are part and parcel of you, and they are your eternal servants. So I know that you can certainly liberate them. So he was actually asking for moksha. He's like, make everybody free from their pain, from their own mind, from their suffering. He asked, liberate Jugas from Glasgow. Lord Nrsimha, yeah, like this he asked. It's like, oh, one day one boy and his name is Jugas. If you all want to born, go to Scotland. Not realize Lithuania much better. It's like, you liberate him from this thought. So let's see if the benediction works. We will find out. Therefore I tell you, run, Jugas, run. Simple that said, run back to Glasgow now that you can. Run as fast as you can, like Forrest Gump, or even faster. Run, Jugas, run. I am being sincere with you. He thinks I am joking. Lord Nrsimhadev then said, if anyone hears, remembers, or tells others about our pastimes, they will certainly be liberated. They will be liberated gradually, first taking shelter of Srila Gurudev by instruction and initiation. So he said, yeah, anybody that hears this story on this day, gradually will be liberated. The first thing that will happen, they will attain Guru. And then by following the instructions of Guru, demagnetize. Sri Prahlad Maharaj never asked for salvation or Sajuya Mukhi, the impersonal liberation of merging unto the Supreme Lord's effulgence. He rejected everything material, and therefore he is in high class Parama Bhagavata, great devotee. Nrsimhadev told him, you will be the ideal example. People will say, always be a great devotee like Prahlad Maharaj. He is a devotee like Prahlad Maharaj. When the subject of bhakti, pure devotional service comes, people will say, oh, Prahlad Maharaj was Mahabhagavata, a pure devotee. So many difficulties in his life came, but he tolerated all of them. He never cursed his father or replied in harsh words. We should try to realize these truths and try to practice bhakti yoga like Prahlad Maharaj. Guru is saying, this is why I wanted all the speakers to discuss this topic today, because it is very important to glorify Prahlad Maharaj before we enter other subjects. And then some devotee asks, why did Lord Nrsimhadev appear from a pillar? He did so to make the words of his devotees true. Before being killed, Hiranyakashipu had asked Prahlad, where is your Lord? Have you ever seen him? And Prahlad replied, oh yeah, he is everywhere. There is no place where he is not. He is in the atom and in the heart of all living entities everywhere. Do you believe this? And the devotee says, yes. Then you know that Lord Krishna is watching you everywhere and in all circumstances. If you are stealing anything or doing any nonsense, others may not realize what you are doing, but he knows. He is everywhere. Then Hiranyakashipu said, is he in this pillar? And Prahlad, yeah, certainly. Hiranyakashipu then picked, he was Indian, so he certainly. Hiranyakashipu then picked his club, and with his fist he crushed the pillar, and a loud roaring sound came out of the pillar. Frightened, Hiranyakashipu began looking around to see, from where is this sound coming? He then saw it, and it was coming from a pillar. To prove that the statement of his servant Prahlad Maharaj was substantial. So remember how we were speaking that chocolate coins have no substance in reality? It's actually a scam. Right? No substance in reality. It's just something somebody made up to scam other people. So those have no substance in reality. But the words of a pure devotee have substance in reality. What is the substance of reality? Relationship, bhakti with God. That is the only substance that actually exists. Bhakti. What happens between a soul and another soul in a spiritual plane of love and devotion, that is substantial. So in other words, to prove that Supreme Lord is present everywhere, even within the pillar of an assembly hall, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, exhibited a wonderful form never been seen. The form was neither that of a man nor that of a lion. Thus the Lord appeared in his wonderful form in the assembly hall. Lord Nrsimha Dev is so merciful that he came to fulfill the 4 Kumaras curse of Jai and Vijay, the 2 gatekeepers in Vaikuntha who were cursed to come to this world as Hiranyakashipu and his brother, and to fulfill the boon which Brahma gave Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu, now observe this, right? He had a boon. So he was Labei Gudrus. You understand the word Gudrus? Hiranyakashipu thought, I am Labei Gudrus. Suktas. Paramasukta. Supremely? Suktas, what is suktas?
It's
Crooked.
crooked.
Like cricket.
More crooked, not smart, more crooked.
He was crooked, he was astute.
Astute.
Astute, he was astute. And he said, he could not be killed by anyone in creation, nor in the night or in the day, nor in any month of the year, nor by any weapon. To make Lord Brahma's words come true, Lord Nrsimha Dev came in the evening at sunset, which is neither day or night. He did not die in the sky or on the earth, for Lord Nrsimha Dev picked him up and put him on his lap. So that's not in the ground and that's not in the sky. He did not die inside of a room or outside. Lord Nrsimha Dev killed him in a doorway. And he did not die by any weapon, for Lord Nrsimha Dev killed him with his nails. And he ripped Hiranyakashipu apart and took out his intestines. I know this is a little hard for you to digest in this country.
No problem.
No, it's like beyond. It's like no problem. Tell me more. So Lord Nrsimha Dev came out of the pillar, and Hiranyakashipu saw that he is everywhere. You may think, I am alone when I'm doing nonsense, but he will see. His eyes are the sun and the moon, and he is in all the atoms of the air. Lord Nrsimha Dev wanted to test Prahlad by offering him boons, to see if he was willing to be cheated by them. He offered to give him the Sajuya Mukti that was given to Shishupal. He offered to give him that salvation which so many sages and Maharishis, saintly kings, in the life of Sankaracharya cannot achieve in thousands of births. Nrsimha Dev was willing to give this to Prahlad very easily, but Prahlad refused it all. He again and again requested Prahlad to accept this, but he refused. My devotees do not accept Shalokya, Sarshti, Sarupya, Samipya, or oneness with me, even if I offer these liberations in preference to serve me. So they are not accepting liberation or merging into him or being one with him. For a devotee, this is more than death. So like a true devotee, only wants to go to Vrindavan or remain in the association of the devotees, never go back to
Glasgow.
Yes. Smart boy. Lord Nrsimha asked, okay, what do you want? Sri Prahlad Maharaj said, please be merciful to all living entities, but that I will be pleased, and you will also be pleased, because you are Bhakta Vatsalya. You have an unlimited desire to please your devotees, and you know that all living beings are your personal eternal servants. Please be merciful and give that benediction to all. And if you want, I will stay in this world forever and suffer all their sinful reactions. But he never took that. He also said, O Master, in all the thousands of births through which I must wander in this world, please let me have unfailing devotion to you, the infallible Supreme Lord. So that's the boon he asked. You please give me the boon that no matter where I am born, I will have devotion to you. And he said infallible. So that is like, nobody can break it. O Achyuta. Achyuta means infallible Lord. I don't mind accepting hundreds and thousands of births, but I want that wherever I will be, I must receive the elevated association of your pure devotees and always worship you. I don't want anything else. Sri Lakshmi Devi, Garuda, Lord Brahma, Lord Sankar, and many other great personalities were present. But Lord Nrsimha gave preference to Prahlad Maharaj. He said, I could not cheat you. You have conquered me. I don't favor Sankarshan or my Lakshmi Devi or my messenger and carrier Garuda or Lord Brahma as much as I favor devotees like you. Therefore I cannot cheat you, so you have conquered me. Sri Prahlad Maharaj never cared for any problem that arose in his life, and he accomplished his mission in a very short time. His father wanted to kill him, but he never cared. If death is to come, it will come, and you will not be able to do anything to protect yourself. Prahlad Maharaj was very bold. You should also be bold like him. I am telling these truths for you. If death is coming or so many problems and sufferings are coming, try to keep your feet on the head of them all. Don't be upset. Try to do bhajan, chanting and remembering Krishna without any hesitation and not consider any obstacles. These are the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj. Gaur Premanand. So it's a message of hope, that we may remember that we're never alone. You know, it's like, it sounds very nice, very poetic, that, oh, God is everywhere, we're never alone. But it's not poetic, it's actually common sense, it's true, it's a fact. It's just we're not conscious of it. So this is why we practice yoga. When we practice yoga, we start realizing that actually divine eternal reality is ever present. We are more engaged in our senses. And I think that's mainly due to our culture, right? We're born in cultures that, teach us how politics, hypocrisy, and democracy, I also mentioned there, instead of teaching us eternal truths. So how can we have an idea? Therefore, we have started pretty late on our process of Krishna consciousness by the time we're, how I met you, 24, 25. That's late. It has to be from the beginning of life. Like the children running around. Sometimes very naturally, they come into the temple room and they start playing with Yoga Maya Kirtan, one singing, one playing, another one doing puja, going and cooking. Like this naturally comes. These are samskars. So if we become attached to the service of the Lord, then we become attached to the eternal principle of loving affection for God, which ultimately is what gives us sustainable happiness. Then is there going to be problems or, mishappenings, all types of challenges in our path? Yeah, sure, of course. It's like these things are meant to happen. But everything is God's design, so you should never be worried. Like even if some karma comes, or even if somebody wants to perpetuate some evil doing out of their own free will against you, it's like you should never be afraid. You should never think I am alone. As long as you're a devotee, as long as you're taking shelter, as long as you're following your guru's instructions, why should karma touch you? It has no agency. So you try to see it in this way, that if the police come to try to catch you, but the judge says, no, the case is dismissed, You cannot take this person to jail. The judge gives the pass. What can the policeman do? Police cannot do anything. You have a debt, police will come. But if you have no debt because you have been exonerated by the judge in the Supreme Court, can the police touch you? So it's the same thing. Understand? So never be afraid of karma. If any little thing is coming, this is God's design. And it's only there to improve our consciousness. Perhaps we were not focusing on the right thing, and then when like some karma comes in, we may realize a hidden aspect of ourselves, everything organized by God. Now, just to reconcile finally, because like most of you want to get married and this and that, take shelter of Sri Guru. If Sri Guru gives blessing, no problem. You do it, you run it, at some point you will lose naturally taste for it. No problem. How much can you be attached? So, but hearing these things is very good because we already understand. It's like, okay, you know, if that is the Dharma that I have by my nature, okay, I can engage in it. But then don't believe that any type of happiness will come from it. If you can renounce it by the grace of Guru, because you also have to have the grace of Guru to undergo the path of renunciation. It's not easy. It's like nothing is easy. So you have to have the grace of the Vaishnavas. Mainly try to remember that, okay? But mostly what I would suggest for everybody is like, let God do His thing. And then humbly accept the mercy of God. In this lila, we're in Gaura lila. So nothing is too harsh or too extreme. There's going to be no intestines on the neck of the Lord in this lila. This is Gaura lila. So only flowers. No? It's not a lila of anger. So this is exemplified in the lila of Jagai Madai. You know, Mahaprabhu was getting angry and Nityananda Prabhu was like, no. You know, it's like, you don't gotta get them in the doorway. No. It's like, this is a lila of compassion and mercy. So you forgive them. And so Mahaprabhu forgave them. And it's like, okay, you do some service, you chant. And just by this, everybody got liberated. So it's, you know, it happens once in the day of Brahma. So once in every billion years, Gaura Lila happens. We're very lucky. It was only... Can you imagine? How many is 100 billion years? And this only happened 500 years ago. So it's very lucky. Very, very lucky. So Gaura Lila is a rare event. It's a rare occurrence. Where even then, you know, in the time of Prahlad prayed that anybody that hears this story on this day, may they be liberated from Glasgow. And the Lord gave the boon that, yeah, may that happen. So even then in that yuga, right, which is much rougher, you know, it's like that yuga, in the world there were proper demons. Yeah, it's like demons these days, you know. They're cartoon demons compared to Hiranyakashipu. They're comic book demons compared to Hiranyakashipu. That was a proper demon.
Virus.
That was a proper demon. And even then, you know, it's like grace was for everybody because of the presence of the devotee Prahlad. Because God cannot say no to His devotees. So therefore, you know, like sometimes people come to astrology and I tell them, you know, more than anything, what you have to do is give donations to the temple, distribute these donations to the Vaishnavas, because then the Vaishnavas give you blessings. So if the Vaishnavas gives you blessings, then God automatically is compelled to bless you. So it's like that's the quickest way, right? But like some people, they don't want to donate to the Vaishnavas or to the temple. So you tell them, chant this mantra. They will not chant the mantra. But you tell them, you wear a gemstone or a rudraksha. Then that time they are wearing. It's like, okay, how much? It's like, okay, 1,500. It's like, here, take my money. And it's like, I just wear it and things will change. It's like, yeah. And then by the grace of Lord Shiva, then it changes. Anyway, they come back and say, okay, it went okay. What should I do? It's like, okay, you give some donations to the temple. But now they will do it. Understand? And then by that donation and by that blessing, then by the blessing of God, why? He is pleased. All Vaishnavas are praying, you please bless this person. How can God say no? He cannot. So like when Nityananda Prabhu prayed that, okay, you don't smack Jagai Madai. It's like, please don't cut their head with Sudarshan. Nityananda Prabhu prayed. He is devotee. So what Mahaprabhu, he could not refuse the prayer. So he said, okay, it should be done like you say. So in this way, Even then, we were getting liberated. Now you imagine the impact of Gora Lila, which is a Lila of absolute grace and mercy. Huh? So the proof of the concept is in this summer, where Gornitai are coming to Masters of Calm, and Rasik Rohan is coming to Masters of Calm as well.
Wow.
So it's like, that's grace. Mohan was telling, oh, will you guys come? I was like, oh, no. I'm not coming. I was telling, I am not coming. It's like, God has better plan. And now you see, manifested. Very nice. So it's like always grace in Gorani. Always grace. Always grace. Well, you know, I got old, so therefore I'm in my wheelchair here in the ashram. Saying I'm here with Radharani, Panchatattva. It's like I'm not socially inclined anymore. It's like this, but anyway, the flow is there, no? Other years I did it, now this year. Why? Prabhuji told Rasik Mohan that he wants an army of hundreds of brahmacharis to distribute Mahaprabhu's grace around the world. I think at least 30% of those brahmacharis have to come from Lithuania. Well, it's the best shot, it's the only place where so much prasadam is being distributed. I was telling Prabhuji, in a year, around 6,000 people take prasadam in Oxini United. It's true, right?
Simple.
Maybe more?
We'll see. It could be up to 10.
Up to 10,000. So can you imagine? So Prabhuji's like, yeah, he already told Rasik Mohan. He wants an army of brahmacharis. And, you know, he's going to have the job of training them. So it's nice. I think he's going to come and scoop some butter. I'm very happy. So everybody please get ready. Masters of Calm Time will be active festival. If you are a homie, you can stay here. If you have the desire to go and preach and be in the festival, you go with Uncle Mohan. And there will be kirtan every day. Rasik Mohan will be giving class. And Bhakti tent will be there. It's just Gornitai will be there. Also Guru Maharaj will go. You can take Guru Maharaj. And then here we will. Our service remains. You know, for who is in the home, it remains. So like that, we're celebrating Nrsimha. So my point today was that even if then there was mercy, then also mercy is there here. But one thing, you must be ready to let go of your attachment, of your thought, what is happiness. So if we're coming nearby the devotees, how you have all experienced. You know, it's not like something bad happens to you. Life just improves. But, you know, while you're letting go of that which you thought was your happiness, that's when it gets tricky. So therefore, you know, I always like to respect the freedom of people. But the more you get involved, you can have a word with Jainitai. He can tell you what happened to him. And it's inevitable, you know, it's like getting on the ocean and, you know, the waves are high and expecting the wave not to take you. You can either learn how to surf it or let it roll you. Because it's like once you're already there, you know, it's like that's your two choices. So I'm telling you, don't get into the sea because, you know, it might roll you over. You're going to get wet. Understand? No, that good tendency you have from a past life. You know, so I would recommend you read the Bhagavad Gita so that you know what you're getting into. That would be the proper thing to do. I wouldn't get married right now if I were you. I don't think you're qualified to do any type of steps in that direction because who knows, your life might just change. You know, it's like I feel so sorry for them when they come young. It's like, 'cause I know that's what happens, you know. It's like, it's a change for the good. But it's like you're going to roll in the sand for a little while. And I would also not go about very ambitious projects because, you know, humility is the first thing we got to learn. If we have too much and we have no humility, things go crooked. So it's better to have nothing in the beginning. So this is why some austerity, some humility is necessary. Therefore, you know, I've told you this before. Something enough is good. Otherwise, you know, Purush rises. It's like, oh, I am the king. This is bad thing. This is bad thing because it blinds you. You know, it blinds you from the help of the sadhus. It blinds you from following instructions. It blinds you from the kindness of the presence of Mahaprabhu. So this is why, you know, basically you can engage in the activity. For those of you who are married, we have to work. engage in the activity, but never believe that any type of happiness can come from that. Okay? So I hope it's clear with the chocolate coins. Is it clear? It's funny. Or the NFTs. Is it clear? All right? Or Netflix. We also explain that. So don't put your bet on those things. It's better to engage with your vital energy and transcendental reality. And that you do by the cultivations of the limbs of bhakti. So now we're going to do Abhishek. So it's like even if you don't understand, perform the Abhishek, just let it flow, see what happens. Inside of you, connections are happening. So it'll rise to the surface. You know, like in the night, we cannot see the sun. That's why it's dark. But it doesn't mean the sun is not there. It just means we can't see it at the moment. Right? But it doesn't mean the sun is not there. Even if we can't see it at night. So it's the same thing with Abhishek. You know, we're remembering the sun. It doesn't mean the sun is an idol. It doesn't mean that God isn't the idol, right? God is everywhere. It's just that we can't see it. It's always been there. He's always been there. We can't see it. So by engaging in the process, what? You'll see very sweetly. We will sing songs of praise, remembering His pastimes, and then we will cover God with love in the form of honey, milk, flowers, rose water, yogurt. It's very nice. So it's like, how can you treat the people that you love the same way? With the love coming from your heart, kind words, compliments. Although if you try compliments in Lithuania, it will not work for the first 10 years. You see, you try to give Abhishek anybody in Lithuania. It's like Bhakti, you know, it's like, oh, demigoddess, a divine apparition. It's so uncomfortable. And now she is getting a little better at accepting. It's like, how possible, how beautiful. Oh, now accepting little bit. Huh? But it took 10 years, something like that. Yeah, no, Lithuanians cannot accept Abhishek. Not possible. But the Lord can accept Abhishek. Putting a little bit of sugar, a little bit of honey. But this is relationship. It's like, why shouldn't we treat each other with love and affection, right? So these people in India, they know this very well, you know. When you go to any Indian home, you know, they will offer you a seat, they will offer you water, you know, they will offer you some fruit, some snacks. You know, like when you go to the house of Premananda Prabhu, Baba, you know, she'll just keep it coming. Or like if you have, also your mother, if you go to this Jatin's mom, you know, if you ever go to her house, it's like, please come in with an empty belly. Because she'll just keep it coming. It's like they'll try to please you. It's the same thing as Abhishek. You know, this is a very beautiful thing. So in the measure that we have an excellent relationship with God, you know, we will be able to have a beautiful relationship with other living entities. This is true. So we are a little bit remembering. So for those of you who are new and are coming here for the first time and don't understand, it's like, why are they worshipping idols? Well, that's, you know, it's like a mental cue so that you can remember. You know, it helps your mind. Because otherwise we're such in darkness that we don't remember. But in reality, God is everywhere. Everywhere. So you could have that attitude at all times with the universe. It'd be just fine. You'd be happy. It's enlightened. Huh? But we got to remind ourselves. Huh? And then maybe little by little, Glasgow will wash away. It washes away. It does. Ran Jugas. Manchakalpatarusha Kripasinurusha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Bolo Guru Maharaj ki jai, Sripula Maharaj ki jai, Sri Nrsimha Bhagavan ki jai, Nrsimha Deva Piranse ki jai, Nrsimha Caturdasi ki jai, the mercy of this day ki jai, the mercy of Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Gaur Premanand. Hari. Okay, now Manjari and Mohan will conduct Abhishek, and then Manjari will conduct Kirtan.